mess up your brand.
Always mess up my brand. Mess it up always. Hello, everybody. It is Comic
Before we
Card
go
Hive
live.
here.
Oh,
Matt,
we're live. Oh, no.
oh man, I can't take you anywhere. Anywhere.
It's a hell of a week to stop smoking cocaine, right? Leslie Nielsen,
Airplane
anyone?
is one of the best movies ever, dude. That is so good. I picked a hell of a week. So good. Hi, everybody. We're so glad you're here with us. This is Comic Card Hive now. One Sketch Card Hive. Finally, first appearance of the new brand.
Debut issue.
Debut issue right here. So collect this, put this off to the side. First appearance. Really happy to be here. I'm here with one of my favorite people in the whole world, OCD Marvel Sketch Cards right here.
What up?
What up? And today we're going to talk about comic cuts. Comic cuts. So first off, we're going to do a little bit of a collection guide here. So for this guide, we're going to run through a few different things. We're going to start with like what cuts are, where they started, what sets have them, just some fun figures, talking about them in general, things to watch out for, things to look for. Again, this guide is not for investors. This is a guide for collectors who are already collecting cards, collecting Marvel, DC, because there's a lot of cuts coming, a lot of different comics already out there. There's Disney cuts, all this kind of good stuff. And what Matt and I were just talking about before we came on here is that, you know, people can look at a piece of art and be like, oh, I love that. Let me go for this. Right. And make those kind of plays, especially if an artist is hot and stuff like that. There is a kind of like investor kind of deep dive into that. Cuts is like the fandom, right? You've had to read the book. You have to know what's being depicted. You have to understand who the penciler, inker, artist, writer. You have to understand the key significance of the cut to even be buying into the cut. So that's kind of what we're talking about. I know a lot of you have been asking for this episode. I'm so glad to see everybody here. Happy holidays, by the way. Everyone just had that. So happy holidays.
Oh, that's you.
That's me. Hey, Interglobal. Interglobal's awesome. Forest Moon is the best if you don't know. Hey, buddy Pauls, what's up? Ryder, William, what's up, man? Hey, Graydon's here too. If anybody wants to pop on, hit me up on it. Hit Matt up on Messenger or hit me up on Instagram. That's what I have open. Kashra. Oh, I love Kashra. What's up, buddy? Fab Lab. What's up, man? Hermit. We love you, Hermit. I'm glad you're feeling better, buddy. Big Dom. Hey, Big Dom. What's up, man? And then Donnie. What's up, Donnie? Man, pulling. About to let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, this is going to be.
He meant to type, we're about to let the cut out of the bag.
It's going to be all night, folks. All night.
Yes.
Every pun possible is going to be happening. Hey, Matt, you cut it out.
Kidding. That cut deep, man. That cut
deep. The gladiator himself. What's up, man? What's up? Hey, what's up, man? Oh, I'm so glad you came by. Thank you so much. This is awesome. Okay, so if you don't know, real quick before I turn it over to Matt, we do have a Facebook group. It is not a Facebook group about building members numbers at all. It's if you have cuts, you've been collecting cuts for a while. It's kind of a group just sharing cool things about cuts, all that kind of stuff. Answer the questions. Happy to see you there. And yeah, if you are a collector of cuts, let me know. We've actually had a really cool Ryan. What's up, man? I got to call Ryan. Hey, Kevin, what's up? Merry Christmas, man. So it's funny. We actually had someone join the group in the cut group who is from Germany, who's been collecting cuts for,
oh my God,
good stuff. And he's a bit of a surfer fan and a few other things too. He's a really cool cat. We got to get him on an episode. I think we're going to have to do the time difference, but he's a very cool guy, and an amazing collection and very deep cut, deep knowledge on all this kind of fun stuff. So, Matt, you've collected cuts far longer than I have. I haven't gotten into cuts because I had been doing so much surfer stuff, and surfer was not really in any cuts at all until just recently. The one he was in, I was able to obtain after a very brutal battle, which was my first ever battle for a cut, which was a long time ago now. But Matt, your collection is, you're on a whole different level, like many others I'm starting to realize, on a whole different level of cut collecting.
Yeah, I mean, I've been collecting cuts probably 10 years now. And, I take one of the approaches we're going to talk about for how to collect, which is I just collect ones that for nostalgia, right? For issues that I've read, for characters that I enjoy. Um, it doesn't have to be the greatest cut, right? For me, don't get me wrong, I love the perfectly framed, perfect quote. I certainly love that. But for me, if I look at the cut and I remember that issue and it just tugs at the nostalgia, and in some ways it's sort of like how some people talk about they have a scent that brings them back. For me, it's my geek as I see an issue and I'm like, I remember I was with John at the Central Square Lynn comic store when this one came out, right? And
That's so
for
cool.
me, it's a lot of like that, and it brings back those sort of memories as well as just the appreciation of the books. Um, and especially, I'm mutants now, but I actually was big into the Avengers as well, and I had gone back and had some key issue runs there. So for me, the first one that really grabbed my attention, and pretty much about when I really started, was Avengers: The Silver Age. There were just so many cuts. They still have, I think, one of the best frames for a cut, right?
One
Just
of the best frames.
it gives the most real estate to the cut, and it really doesn't draw attention away from it. And these ones just hit on all those counts. They looked great, callbacks to the issues. I mean, as far as collecting for nostalgia, that really is what sort of set me on the path. So when we talk about different ways to collect, to me, that's kind of the easiest way I think to get into cuts. If you know the issues,
Yeah.
that's definitely there. And it's an easy segue from there into character collecting cuts, which is, I think, sort of how you got into it as well with Surfer, and I think how a lot of people have. I saw Ryder in here. I know he goes after his. Graydon goes after Sabretooth. So I think in the group we know, I suspect the character focused cuts are probably going to be the most popular on ramp to cut collecting.
Yeah.
Why don't you go on a little bit about that in your surfer journey before we get to some of the others?
Yeah. So it's always really cool hearing from Matt and what he collects, because Matt collects at very
Too
different
much.
levels than me. I know, not true. At very different levels than me, and I'm always so fascinated and impressed by what he's able to do. And Matt is one of those collectors that I know, that I'm lucky to know, that has read a lot of comic books. A lot of people I know, which is not a slight against anybody, haven't really read a lot of books. You know what I mean? Like, I've luckily have read a lot of comic books outside of Surfer as well, graphic novels, when I was doing that kind of stuff for a long time. So I have a bit of knowledge that's sprinkled across many different characters and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't. And I think what's really cool about cuts, especially from like the character collector angle, it's that you see an issue, you see your characters in it, you're like, oh, I've never seen that issue with my character. That's great. I wonder what that moment was. You know what I mean? And then you have that, oh, I'm going to go read the book. You bring the cut. And then, like, in this strange way, you remember being transported back to like reading the book. And for other people, they're like, oh man, I read this book and I remember when I found the cut that led me to this. Right. Again, it's that kind of thing that happens with a lot of Marvel card collectors, where we are going from the card into the origin stuff, or the origin stuff to the card. Right. It's a very cool kind of cycle we get ourselves into. And for me, I've always thought comic cuts were great, but man, I'm very picky about what I spend money on because of the Surfer collection. I stay very precise, and I try not to buy outside of anything. Then Surfer came into cuts, and now I'm really done. And I'm starting to also build a collection outside. This is the part where you guys talk about how bad Scarlet Witch cuts are to collect and how they hold no value. It's true, Hermit. I mean, other than her being a top 5 character, I think they hold no value whatsoever. So I agree with you, buddy. Free Doom, same. The Doom's not anything of a big deal. Yeah, don't buy. I'm actually collecting cuts outside of Surfer as well, which is a first for me, buying cards that are outside of Surfer. They are my own little contraption. I'm doing it by total fun, not by any rigid standards like I usually do. But yeah, character collecting for a lot of people I'm talking to, the cuts are a great way to see artists that haven't made it on cards. Clippings are a cut above. Yeah. It's true, man. There's a difference here where you just don't get to appreciate the interiors of a book as often as you should. And I feel like comic cuts are that way of getting to appreciate moments, panels, sections. There are some crazy panels I've been seeing on eBay, which we'll talk about too, that are just blowing my mind that they're such pivotal moments. They're expensive because they're being sold by X or whoever is deciding to put them out there. But it's pretty cool to see really big moments in books being kind of like captured in a card. Now, before we go on, there are some misnomers about comic cuts, and I think we should address those first. And I hate saying this because this is going to screw everybody who's collecting cuts, but it's important because if you don't do this kind of stuff, what ends up happening is that it becomes one small group of guys who collect this thing, guys and girls, and then they're gone forever. I've seen this happen with vintage sketch cards, and it's heartbreaking to not be part of those conversations. And it's inevitably going to happen, but I think it's really exciting right now because Upper Deck has put out so much product that there's going to be such an influx of things that we could all kind of enjoy this before it kind of vanishes. Because, like I'm about to say, comic cuts are essentially one of ones. Now, you might not have known that. A lot of you do know this, but if you're watching this and you are someone who's new to the hobby, you might be like, yeah, but it says out of 50. It says, well, that's 50 individual cuts that are being taken out of that comic book. And I think it's important to do that. Now, have they been repeated? Of course. Does it happen often? Not as often as you think. I will say that I'm going to find you guys something in a second here.
Yeah, I think there's one set where you could get repeats even within the set, which was Avengers Silver Age. Because most issues, they did like close to 200 for each one. So we think they used 3 books for each issue. So you could definitely get dupes there. For Avengers, you could definitely get copies of ones from both Silver Age and then Fleer Ultra Avengers because they issued ones that were back in the original 1 to 100 run. And I think either Ages or somebody else also, maybe it was Wolverine, somebody else had some more that were Avengers in there. So in theory, yeah, you could have the same cut from 3 different sets, which would be fantastic. Oh, there he is.
There he is, the man himself. So a lot of people going into the history about this, and we'll talk about the cuts that repeat, the sets, how to know if they repeat, how to find the serial number, and so forth. I think one of the most important things to realize as we look at this is that these comic books are in terrible condition, falling apart, covers half split off.
The key issues for sure, absolutely.
The key issues, the big issues, the ones that are expensive that people are worried about cutting, these are already kind of not in great shape at all. And I want to show this selection process. Now, let's back up a second here before we go any further, because it's going to get complicated real quick.
There's so much, right?
There's so much. So first off, let's look at what the sets are that the cuts have been made from. Okay. The very first comic cut comes from 2006, Complete Avengers, 1963 to present. Okay. There were 4 issues there. And let me go ahead and bring that up so we can look at that. Now, the 4 issues there were Avenger Focus. Okay. They were Avengers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1. They were 2 per case. And basically, they were on an 8x11 piece of paper. And they would take not just one panel, but they would take like a full section, like a 3-panel full section, and put it in the middle of the card. And we'll show you a picture of it in a second. That was the first time cuts were put into Marvel products. I'm sure cuts had existed beforehand. I have to look it up to make sure. But for Marvel specific, it was by Rittenhouse. And it was the first time they kind of figured this out. And it was 2 per case or something. No, maybe even the ratio was harder than that. I don't remember. No, I have to look it up. But it was by Rittenhouse. They didn't come back until 2011. where you talk about Marvel Beginnings. And that's where this video comes into play, which I'll put back on here so you guys can see it. But this video here is kind of depicting Marvel Beginnings 2011. And they're called Ultimate Panel Focus cards. And they're using these stencils to go ahead and highlight those particular points in the issue. And they're cutting them down. If you ever look at a Beginnings cut, which I don't know if you have any, Matt, I think you do.
Do I have it in front of me?
I think I have one here. But if you're looking at it there, this gentleman here, who's very nice, was one of the first people to kind of hand select all these cuts. And if you look at any Marvel Beginnings cut, especially selected by this gentleman here, everything's in the frame. Very much in the frame, even. For this card example, this is a giant size X-Men #1, Sunfire. And you can tell that just brilliantly framed in there. It's a sideways one as well, too. I don't think there's a lot of sideways comic cuts that later come on. They all become very vertical, I think. Right, Matt? I think that's true.
Yeah.
But this one's sideways in particular, and it's just a great cut. You can tell that they kept all the caption bubbles in there. The character's fully in the panel. Got a little, I think that might be
Little bleed from the next one, but yeah.
Little bleed from the next one here on the bottom panel. I forgot who this character might be. I don't think it's Nightcrawler. I can't tell. But you can tell that everything's in there. Yeah, you can tell everything's in there. This was very purposeful. Even this border here, very highly reflective gold. Very nice piece. I was lucky enough to find this one because it was, I don't know. I think people just didn't realize what it was. But I was lucky to get this one. And this is how the back would look. 30 out of 124. Now, what could happen here, because it is 124, is that this could be 2 issues.
2 copies, yeah.
It could be 2 copies. So there could be 2 copies of this or 1 copy. Now, even sometimes when the copies were there, they didn't look exactly alike. Funny enough, there's a lot of examples here in the video showing all the different cuts, all the different cards, all the different sections, all from kind of big issues. And this is kind of how it started. This is the way cuts kind of come into it. They start being made to fit a card, and they're capturing very specific moments from the book. So just a little bit of a brief history on the background of that.
Yeah, but on the character side, I've often wondered, we talk about you're a character collector and you get into the cuts. I was curious if there's anyone who was an MCU fan who came into cards and then saw the cuts and had that as a way to potentially drive them back to the comics. I sort of wondered if there was anyone either in chat or anyone who comes along and sees this video later and kind of came in from that vector, because I think that would be interesting as a way to introduce someone to be, oh yeah, I forgot. I've watched 25 movies, but there's this whole comic book history behind these. Maybe I'll get into that. I'm sure it's more rare, but I think it'd be super interesting if somebody came in that way.
I think it's very interesting someone came in that way. And I think what cuts do really well is kind of highlight key moments that people probably don't understand their characters had, right? Like they don't understand that character was with this character or in that issue. And with the MCU, you only get one facet of the character when you watch those films. And I've even seen, I don't have any, but I've even seen cuts that kind of capture, here, I got one here, that capture key moments in the MCU movies, right?
Because they brought it over from the comics, yeah.
Right, because the comics are kind of the, obviously the inspiration to this stuff. I'm trying to do this without breaking my binder. But here's another one. And this is one of Cap saying Avengers Assemble. And it's one of the first issues where he says this line, and this line kind of becomes the line, for the movie, right? It's the moment everybody was waiting for. and it celebrates that. And obviously this has come in the comic books and was very much a staple in Avenger books, saying Avengers Assemble, and it's been used a lot of times. And there's actually a lot of cuts where Cap is saying this, or people are charging. Like, I've seen a few of them. I think there's one on eBay now from a later issue where they're saying Avengers Assemble, because it was kind of like their tagline. You know what I mean? So there is that kind of like ability to blend those two worlds together, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So we talked about nostalgia. We talked about the character focus. We might as well just touch on investing that we sort of hinted at the beginning. And I think all I'll say about this is, like anything in cards, I'd be super careful on this. I mean, are there key issues like, obviously there's Amazing Fantasy number 15, right? Those cuts that came out. Obviously, those cuts spiked in price because it's such a key issue. And I think that's sort of a unicorn myself. I think I would say if you like key moments, get them because you like the moments. I would advise against going into cuts trying to speculate and make money, only because it's still overall sort of a niche collecting lane that I just don't know that there's enough money out there that you could do it. I mean, if you really want to try to invest in it, knock yourself out. I just say be really, really careful, because these just haven't hit sort of the mainstream or the collecting zeitgeist yet. So I would just be really careful on the investing. That being said, there are key appearances out there, like the same way that comic books have value when you get the first appearance of someone. Yeah, I think if people have done the research and they know there's a first appearance of a character, I think there's certainly a premium for that. I don't know how crazy I'd go beyond that. So again, just a warning: be real careful with your money when it comes to cuts.
I don't think, it's funny. I'm always on my channel, your channel, a lot of channels, talking about people getting into certain cards for the money and the investor side. And I remember having this conversation with someone, and I was talking to them, and I was like, why are you collecting something that's out of 5, out of 1, out of 10? Like, why are you pouring $5,000, $10,000, $2,000 into cards like that? Because they're in my mind, I was like, there's other great stuff out there that's less, that's way, like, I would rather put my money in that than ever put my money in this. And it's really funny. And the person I was talking to was not a collector. It was very much an investor. And they were like, well, you can't dispute an out of 5. You can't dispute an out of 10. It's not a conversation. It's like, hey, this is that rare. If you want one of these, there's only 5 other ones, and I have 2 or 3. So it's that kind of conversation, that mentality that, I don't look at as a collector. And I think what's great about cuts is that you can't really have that mentality with cuts, right? Cuts are really about the fandom, right? It's really about knowing the character, knowing the moment, having the ability to look into your own knowledge of these characters and kind of be rewarded by collecting something that only you could really look at and be like, hey, I know this moment. I was just talking to Ryder the other day, and Ryder was telling me something awesome about Johnny Blaze and something specific, and totally blew my mind how much he understood. And when I looked at the cut, I was like, oh, that is a crazy, beautiful cut because of that moment. Like, I understood that context. And I think if you don't have the context here and you try to play the game, you're going to get burned. You know what I mean? And it's just a very real possibility for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'll use this as an example, right? Avengers 57 from Silver Age, first appearance of the Vision. So this is the first panel from the comic, right? So this is the page 1, panel 1. This is where he first shows up. Then you've got a cut where it's the first time he's named Vision. You got Wanda saying he looks like an Inhuman Vision. Is it showing up reverse on your screen or only on mine?
On yours. Mine's good.
Okay, to make it sure. And then here's the first time he calls himself the Vision, right? So those are all cool. Do I think that the first appearance, these should command massive prices? No, I got them because they're cool, right? And I like that aspect of his first appearance. So again, I would just say, collect for your own goals. And if you, I mean, if you really think that this is going to be worth $1 million one day, knock yourself out, I guess. But I just don't see that myself. I mean, there's still, again, it's still niche. There's still enough of like, there's a good chunk of the comic book community that hates the whole concept of this, right? That they even exist, right? So but we're not going to get into that. We accept that they exist, and we're happy for it. But yeah.
I mean, also too, like we have some very cool numbers here. And let's look at Hermit. Hermit says, which Matt, it's kind of crazy, but this is exactly what you were pointing out. Pretty much exactly me. I got into cards as an MCU fan, and Comic Cuts got me into the comics. Now that I've been down the rabbit hole of reading everything for Scarlet Witch, that's amazing, right? All the way you get to these cards, whether it's from the card or from something else, is kind of essentially what Marvel cards has always been about, right? It's always kind of bridging every gap between these narratives and these characters. I think that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Let me show you guys something. Go for it.
No, if you get something to display,
just
the next
real quick.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the
them
aspect.
Yes, and I want to see that. Let's go ahead and stop that. Yeah, because we want to look at cuts. We want to look at cuts for sure.
And we are going to actually try to hit some cuts tonight too.
Yes, so be ready for that. This is just the guide portion. Okay, so this is something I've been messing with, which is insane, I know. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay.
It's tiny, but
it's tiny.
Them.
There you go. Is that better? All right. So these are all the sets that have cuts in them. So you can see that. These are the count of autographs for each one. Some of these numbers might be wrong because this is me just messing around trying to get this right. And these are all the comic book issues that have been used to make cuts. Okay. Now, as you can see here, there's another aspect to this, which I believe I saved here, which is giving me trouble to find there. But I had something else in here. But there's also an aspect of this of how many comic books were actually used multiple times. It's only a handful of books that were used. I don't think any book's been used more than 5 times. And it's definitely not any vintage books by any means. And I'll get those numbers to you guys when I find where I hit them on here. But it is really interesting to see that they've used a lot of comic books, but not a lot of the same comic books. So we'll have some of those numbers in here and I'll show you guys that stuff. But if you check out here, let me bring Matt's screen back up. Here you go, Matt.
Oh, okay. So just, I was talking about the fun aspect. So one of the things I love to do is when it comes to those duplicates is to try and collect the ones where they show the same one.
No.
Yeah, because like we said, we think there are 3 issues. So to be able to get all 3 of them, I think is awesome. It's silly. And it's like this, who cares about this cut, right? This is this Mayonnaise guy or whatever his name is, but it's just fun to.
It's even better.
Like that,
I think it's even better that you were able to get all 3. And what's the edition size of that book for that card?
135.
So there you go. So that's a good way of understanding how many cuts exist for a particular issue. Of course, it's one of those things we have to do tons of research to figure out what book has been used many times, how it's been used many times, and so forth. And it's a very rewarding process. But usually, when it's under 65 or 50 for the serial number, usually that book's only been used once. Now, that's not to say that book can't come back and be used for another set. For instance, the X-Men 1991 #1, first time Jim Lee's X-Men run, right? The first issue for that. That issue was used, I think it's like 4 times now. I think I have to look at it, but I think it's like 4 or 5 times now that issue's been used. And it's a great issue. There's plenty of cuts out there. There's auto cuts on there. There's regular cuts on there. And I think it's in Fleer Ultra Wolverine, Beginnings, all that kind of good stuff. And it's a book that was published a lot. There's a lot of printed copies of that book, but not necessarily the highlighting of certain cuts and certain characters for those issues. So it's actually very cool to see that. To see that possibility there. Let me get to the comments because a lot of people are chiming in. And if you have any questions, please let us know. We have a few more things, but please let us know. I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't sure I was got into comics, but it looks like you were heading in that direction. Yeah. Donnie Boy. One thing that I love is that there's so many different ways to collect comic cuts, going after key issues or going after certain errors. I love that. Even in certain years is endless for sure. Just have fun with it. Let's talk about the errors we've seen in comic books, in comic cuts real quick. So we put that on the table. Matt, what's one you've seen?
Oh God, I'm trying to remember. There's one from Allegiance I found where Allegiance was X-Men, where because they do this autographed ones with two cuts, and one of the cuts wasn't from the issue. I forget which one it was off the top of my head. And then there was one more. It's escaping me at the moment, but I've seen at least two from two different sets.
Definitely. We've seen an issue. Yeah, we've seen an issue with the lineage booklets, with some of them having.
That's exactly what it was. Yep.
We've seen that issue where the wrong cut was used under the wrong issue. Again, these are handmade cards. These are not printed on an uncut sheet. And I think that is for me, a very attractive feature to collecting comic cuts. That's what I love about sketch cards, is that they're not just something, they're handmade. There's a handmade component to it, and that's why I really love them. So there are going to be errors to this, and I think it's just accepted. The one error that's not okay that we have seen in the past, and I haven't seen it terribly often, but I've seen it happen, is where they're using modern reprintings of vintage books for cuts. It doesn't happen often, and it's a pretty easy spot. If you've collected comic books and know what a book looks like, you can look at a cut and see that it's aged. You can see the paper. You know what I mean? You can get the details of all that. Matt's going to go get something, but you could see kind of the quality of the paper. And then if you collect a more modern issue of a comic book, you can tell, it's more glossy paper and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with a more modern issue. I would say there's a bunch of cuts out there that are modern cuts that are pretty much first time appearance of characters who are really kind of famous, right? Kind of become a big deal and became famous very late, but are modern characters, right? Those cuts have been made as well. I'm going to get a penny sleeve for this. I'll be right back.
I think it's this one. I didn't realize I did this. You know what? So there was one. It was one of the multi-panels. I can't remember if it was Allegiance or a different one. And at first it looked like an error. So they had 6 different panels. And I pulled up a copy of the book, and I was able to find 4 of them, but 2 of them weren't in there. And then someone did some digging for me, and what we found out was the problem was I was using a current digital book to look up the cuts. And the problem is if they take cuts from the older issues, there are things in the older issues like ads and previews that they don't put into the digital book. And it turned out that 2 of the 6 cuts were from a preview of a different issue coming soon's cover. So it was in that book, but it had nothing to do with the book because it was a whole different comic. It was even a different comic series, I believe.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So technically, it was in the book, but it had nothing to do with it.
That's pretty cool, though.
I saw this earlier, where Paul said he pulled the cut. And Paul, I would love to see it. If you want to jump on, or if you want to send.
Oh yeah, Paul.
We'll share it because this might be the first cut we've all seen other than the preview cuts. So I'd love to see one from the wild.
Please ask for the link or whatever, or jump on. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, or send it in Messenger to me or.
Oh yeah, send it on Messenger, even better. That'd be faster.
Yeah. But as a follow-up on that, though, there are other issues in some of the Avengers. We've talked about, we found cuts that are from the letters page, which is awesome because those aren't copied over into the modern reprints or digital reprints. And we have found cuts from ads within the books. In fact, I might have battled someone on here for it. Let me find one to share from my eBay purchases. In fact, I'm almost positive someone in the chat's going to be like, "You beat me out for that."
1000%.
Right? So I'm gonna get myself in trouble here, um, especially when I point out that this was me getting a duplicate.
I love it. That's going to be.
Yeah, so
Someone asked. Someone's gonna be a little pissed about that for sure. Someone's asking here: comic cover clippings more sought after than regular clippings.
100%. Well, no, not for everybody, but for
Not for
me,
everybody. Yeah, I think anything that's a cover clipping, they clipped a cover and put it in a one panel type of card situation. Yeah, I think those are pretty great. It depends on the cut, obviously, but I think there are some cases where you can have an internal panel cut that's a bigger. Oh, Matt, I'm so mad at you. It's me. Oh my God. I didn't
was
get
it
this. Yeah, it was me. I didn't battle you that hard. I didn't battle you that hard. I didn't battle you that hard.
so? This
I've been
is
watching it.
this is an advertisement for a toy
Yeah. Yeah.
within the book, which is
Yeah.
kind of awesome.
I was looking at this, Matt. I've been watching it the whole stupid time. I've been looking at it. Put a bid or two, and I saw it getting crazy, and I was like, nope, can't do it. And I was like, this is such a good cut.
Yeah.
Such a good cut. I love this one. What's the edition size again? How many are cut from this issue?
So look,
On the back of the card?
35 out of 184.
That's a good cut, Matt. Like, it's a
Yeah.
stupid good cut. I love that one.
I like it too.
That was a good decision. That was a good decision. I love it. That was a good decision.
But yes, so on the comic covers, so there's two ways to look at it. So, and again, I'm just going to tell you my preference. This doesn't make it any more or less valid. So I love the older sets like Avengers or Marvel 80th, where the cover cuts were just rare kind of hits within the regular subset, right? So you might have just 50, it might be an out of 50, and only one of them is going to be a cover, and it's completely random in the pack, and it's just luck of the draw. So, for example, this one.
Oh, let me put that on here. That's a beauty.
So this is, it's also autographed, which is nice. So this is the cover to Elektra Assassin #1, right? And this was just one I had to chase down in the wild, and I just love it, and that's great. So recently, as with all things, Upper Deck has taken a different approach where they have made covers an incentive on eBay, right? You get it for completing an achievement, I should say. And that's a way to get covers. This is one of the few instances where I'll be contrarian on it and say I actually don't like it. And it's not the same reason I don't like when they do all 4 plates, because I think I like the hunt. And that's part of why I don't like the achievements, but I also don't like that. So for this one right here, someone obviously looked at this and said, this is going to be the perfect way to frame this cut, right? This was very intentional, very deliberate. Whereas when they do the cover ones, they just literally make a 4x4 grid and just cut it. And if a face gets cut in half, tough. If you got a forehead on part of it, great. But this one might have only a leg in it. So what I don't like about it is there is no love behind those cuts, right? Like this one, you can tell someone who understood it, took the time to curate that cut. Those achievement ones, it's literally just they put a cover in a machine and it cut it, and that was the end of it. Again, that some people love it, and if you can display them all next to each other and sort of see the recreation, then that's great. I just don't like the automatic, mechanical aspect of that. Personally,
there's 2 aspects to this, and I think it's a great opinion, and I think it's a very insightful opinion. There's 2 things to this that make it more sense to me, and I get it. If they had done that and put all those cards into packs and not had them as one achievement altogether, I would say dog doo-doo. Like 100% not cool. That's not the way to do it. That's totally upsetting, because getting that one little foot or the corner of nothing would be a total waste. So the fact that they put that whole cover into an achievement where you can all get it as one made a lot more sense to me if they're going to mechanically cut it like that. Now, if they hand cut it, like if you look at that Electra cover, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how much of the rest of that cover was used for other cuts. I'd be
just knowing the cover, I can tell you it's 0 because she's the only thing on the cover.
The gun, that's it, and the corner box.
Corner box, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I've seen corner box cuts. That's a dream.
Awesome.
That's a dream. I go to bed at night and I fantasize about that ever happening. That is a fantastic idea. Because it's just awesome. Poor Graydon. When you said no to the cover, I was like, poor bastard.
Yeah. No. Again, that's just my take. That doesn't need nothing. Mine's not valid.
No. Yeah.
Personally, I would rather see 3 well-curated cuts from a cover than just one full thing. But you know what? People obviously love them because they went through a lot of work to get those. Like, those achievements are not easy. So clearly I'm in the minority there, and I'm totally happy with that. And
I'll put another one out there.
Everyone that gets one absolutely loves them because there are some really nice ones. And which one is great, Nev? Does he have the Wolverine?
He has a good one.
The running? Yeah. Is that a Rubik's Cube?
I have to ask. I don't remember. He showed it to me, and I was jealous. And I was like, oh, I want a surfer one bad. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be cool to see for sure.
The other reason it doesn't make sense for me is that's not how I display. Like, I don't have any place where I could display like a 4x4 grid. So that's another reason it doesn't really resonate for me. But if you've got a display and can show it, all the more power.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll say something I don't like to even the playing field so you're not out there alone. I don't like coinage cards. I don't like the coinage ones.
I have 2 in my collection just to have them.
Yeah.
But the window is so tiny.
Tiny window. Some windows are good, though. I've seen some good coinage cards that use the windows really well. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't bother me. The other thing that kind of bothers me is the using of the face of the person on the cut. Like, it doesn't do that. That Electra is beautiful regardless of Bill's gorgeous face being on there. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of having the artist's or writer's face on there. I don't know what it is. It's like a little pet peeve, but I don't know. But I've met a lot of different people who collect cuts very differently, have specific things that they like. So it's actually pretty fun.
For sure. And that's a good point that TJ makes. Yeah. I mean, those, I think the value stamps were printed though, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they weren't actual cut. But
I wish they were. They should have been cut.
Sort of reverse, and you put them in the books. Yeah, those were really cool.
Those were really cool. Yeah, those were really cool. I love the value stamps a lot, and I love the inserts they made of value stamps. I don't think they ever made a surfer. I know they didn't make a surfer, which is heartbreaking. But that would have been a really cool thing. I put a value stamp in the collection because I think it's just so awesome. So we got a few people are trying to kill me here.
Yeah, this one is my Electra.
Yeah. Hard pass on the coinage ones. I don't like the coinage either.
Yeah, and then and another thing, just to get. So we talked about investing. So another one that I like is just, and I'm shocked at how many people feel the same way because we've seen this a ton in the Facebook group. Is just silly cuts, right?
I love the silly ones.
Like they can be like childish like this, just to cut with the word "fap" on it, right? I mean, come on, like my inner 12-year-old chuckles every single time I see that.
I love this cut.
Just that. Different ones where I just bought one. I don't have it in hand yet, but it's kind of the Hulk smashing through in the issue where he says Hulk does not think clowns are funny. Like, who doesn't want that, right?
Who doesn't want that?
It can be like reaction shots that you use in conversation.
You started that. That's a big thing we're trying to build up in the Comic Cut Facebook group, and we've done this in other Facebook groups. But having cuts be like reactionary to like conversations and stuff. So like this, right? This would be like me after Taco Bell.
Derpa has a hell.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. See, this is a bad night for me. It's just a bad day. And I hated myself for buying this. I told Matt too. I was like, why am I buying this cut? I should not be buying this cut. But you know what? It's one of my reaction cuts now. So I love it.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to just having fun when you collect, and that's just, I mean, to me, that's the whole core, right? Not they won't always be this, juvenile and childish, but you gotta absolutely have fun with some of these.
We got to get Letty on here one night. Letty has some of the best and appropriate cuts.
And we should have Letty and Derpa on for a cut. We'll call it a cut off.
That would be great. Derpa has a good collection of cuts. That would actually be pretty great. Yeah. I think Paul. Did Paul send us the photo? Is Paul in the chat?
Oh, I don't know. Let me see.
Sorry, buddy. We got carried away.
He might have sent it to you. I don't see one on my messenger. I'm assuming you saw a comment that says it was sent.
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. Let me go back to Paul. Oh, it's sent in my chat on my. Oh, there we go. There we go. Request. I see it now.
Perfect.
Nope. No. Wrong button. There we go.
Yeah, these Monarch sketches are looking really cool. Cuts are looking.
Thank you, chat, for alerting me.
Thank you, guys. We'll show off some more cuts too. So, perfect. So we talked about the history about him, talked about some different sets, talked about some things.
Graydon's here. Graydon, at some point we got to do like cut binders for your binder thing.
If you don't know, Last Pack Magic has an amazing segment called Binder Nights, and Matt's proposing a wonderful comic cut binder night. And if you know anything about Matt's binders, it's going to be an epic video. So that's coming very soon, so be on the lookout for that. All right, here we go. They sell comics with missing panels cut out. Then you buy boxes of comic cards and attempt to find cards that fill the missing panels. Okay, don't throw out great business ideas just like that. Okay, that's a puzzle I'm willing to solve. You send me a missing book.
That's sort of what Panini does with the stickers, right? Because you get the books that have the spots where you put the stickers to fill out the pages.
Yeah.
That'll make the comic collectors hate us even more, because then
even more.
All right, so
making it a puzzle situation, that would definitely strike.
Ooh, this is a nice one. Okay, let me
show me.
Take a picture of this. I gotta send it to my PC. Won't let me look at it, so I'm gonna clip it and send it to myself. Well, you know what? I could probably just.
Take your time.
Just put it onto the screen, and this will work. Camera, don't mind me. Exciting video here, guys.
All right, I got a pop quiz for Matt here. All right, Matt. Identify who this character. Oh.
Yeah, nice Silver Samurai.
That's good. What's the character's name in there?
It is Storm. X-Men.
That looks good. Storm. Okay, so you guys know. They did something interesting here with this set. They went ahead and put the character's name in the comic. What that means is that issue, Uncanny X-Men 172, is, at least what they're saying, there's primarily like a Storm issue where she's featured in their Heavenly, and they decide to put character names alongside these issue titles.
Is that Barry Windsor-Smith?
So that seems to be the pattern of what they're doing there. They're also calling them essential issues and connected panels or something like that.
Okay.
They called them something different. But I think it was connected.
Well, there's essential issues and there's the dual. Yeah.
Connected cuts and essential issue cuts. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see more of these. That's a great cut. Thank you.
Thank you. That's actually a great pull, too. Hey, Blake, what's up? Awesome. That's really great. Okay, so Matt, you ready for Matt's deep knowledge here? We're going to play a little game. All right, Matt. Who is inside this costume?
Let me make it bigger because I'm having trouble seeing it. X-Men, where's that? 109?
105.
105. So that's the burn run with Claremont. Who is inside of that? Good gads.
This is good, right?
105. I mean, Colossus is too obvious. He wouldn't be wearing armor that looks like him.
Uh-huh.
Looks like containment, so maybe Sunfire? Something like that?
Lilandra.
Oh, really? That's her armor, huh? Okay.
Yep. This is from that issue where she visits Professor X.
That's wild.
Isn't that
Okay.
wild? I don't think we've ever seen her in her alien costume because that was the headdress they would have like as their alien things or whatever. Isn't that sick?
Nice. Yeah, and Charles likes the muscular, I guess, huh? All right.
Hey, everyone has a type. We're not hating people here, okay? Let them enjoy it. All right, everyone has their thing. I thought that was crazy to see her like space. Like I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was trying to find a good Lilandra cut.
There are so many where I could stand to go back and like look at the cut and be like, what was the context of this, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of good ones like that for sure. A lot of really good ones like that. Okay, so let's show some cuts. Let's look at a few things. Any questions from the chat? Let me know. Alonzo, I think. Oh, what is Alonzo doing? Alonzo has a good cut collection. I'm gonna send him the invite. I didn't think he.
I mean, when you have that one cut, right? That sort of like, sets the bar pretty high.
Yeah, we don't have to. Poor guy. I don't want to put him on blast like that, but they are pretty awesome. He has a good collection of it too. I have to find his name. Actually, I think he's on Whatnot. I don't remember. I have to look it up. Let's see what he's doing. But I'll send him a link through Instagram because I can't get through Messenger right now on my phone. But yeah. All right. So any questions from the chat? Thought Alonzo had a Whatnot at 6 p.m. He did. Damn. Okay. Yeah, I think he did then. If he's still on there breaking.
He's on every night. He is.
That's true. Okay.
He is Whatnot.
He is Whatnot. There's no distinguishing the two. Okay. What do we do now? So we talked about the hunt. Let me go over my notes. We had a few more things. I do want to start breaking. I want to look at some cuts. Key moments, reprints, silly issue comics, stats, history. I think we feel pretty good about that. That feels pretty good. Booklets. There are booklet cuts. So people know there are versus booklet cuts, which are really cool too. And there's also some booklet autographs. And the autographs are pretty interesting. And I can show you guys something here that might be fun to look at, which I think will be interesting. You can see all the artists that have signed comic cuts, which artists and writers, which I think is pretty cool. So I'll show that on the screen because that'll be fun to take a look at. So here you go. So hopefully you can see that. But you got some, don't worry about the blank there, Chris Claremont, Adam Kubrick, Al Milgrom, Andy, Bill Sinkovich, as you've seen already, Jim Starlin. There's a bunch of people, Rubenstein, that are listed here. Mike Zeck, which is really cool. Ron Lim, which is really awesome. Steve Eaglehart, which is really great. You can see how they pair it up. You can see how many they've had. Really cool to see all these different artists and writers who they've gotten. John Romita Jr., which is a pretty big name. Gene Conroy, which is pretty cool too. Marv Wolfman, I love. So it's really cool. It's really cool to see how many autograph counts there are. I think there are only 299 cuts that are autograph cuts out there. And there are how many issues? 1,985 issues that they've used for cuts. And they go under different titles too. So you guys can see that. Oh, here's the list I was telling you about. Yeah. So the Deadpool one, they've used 9. Infinity Gauntlet number 4 has been used 5 times. And it's one issue that's been used over the course of all of these, maybe 2 issues. But those issues were heavily printed. Does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah, no, definitely.
So here's something. So Secret Wars 1, right? That was first used in 2017, Fleer Ultra Spider-Man, and then again in 2024, which is pretty cool. One that's autographed by Zeck himself, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, and you can see where some cuts and some issues first were in. So X-Men, like I told you before, this comic book has been used 4 times for 3 different sets, or yeah, 3 different sets. So you have a dual, you have an autograph and a regular, and you have a comic cuts that have been used for the 2024. So there you go.
Interesting comment here.
Listening.
You think cuts are worth grading?
Okay, good one. I almost left the stream. So cuts for grading. I think cuts. I don't like grading anything that's 1 of 1. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think they're cool to get framed in a slab. I think that's cool. But actually, I had the blue label CGC graded. This cut that Matt let me have because it's Galactus, and I took it out of the slab because I wanted to put it in the binder that I'm making for the comic cuts. It looked great in the slab. I loved it, but it's a 1 of 1. I don't know if I care about the condition of a cut. I don't know. Do you care about the condition of a cut, Matt?
I don't. I think there are 2 reasons to get it either graded or slabbed, authenticated, whatever. Number 1 is you just want to protect it. Obviously, that's the most important one. But if you're looking for grading in terms of value or investing, I think there's probably only a few cuts in existence where I'd say that makes sense for. The obvious one would be the AF-15s, right? Just because I don't think it hurts it, right? I think getting it mostly for the protection, but that one is such a unique one that the grade probably doesn't hurt. Other than that, it's got to be like a real important key issue or moment. Like I could see that giving some appeal to people beyond comic collectors, but for personal reasons, for protecting, I'd say it. Like I grade my Danny cuts because all of I want it to match with all of my graded Danny cards. So for example, like I've got a couple here that I got graded again just to sort of have it. This one obviously has her on the cut. This one is actually she's on the comic on the back. But it's nice because this is actually nice because they're in. Again, sometimes I like the stories behind them. This is, I think it's Danny holding up a picture that was in the mansion of Peter, Kitty, and Ilyana.
That's sick.
Yeah.
There's 2 cuts on eBay right now where it is a picture being held. So there's 2 of them. There's a Mockingbird one from Secret Wars Legions, and there's another one as well where someone's holding a picture of something, which I think is always the coolest cuts. I love that. It's surprising to see so many of them, but I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. But for me, I do it only because I wanted to match my whole Danny collection.
They look good in a slab. I will say comic cuts look superb in a slab. You know what I mean? Any slab you're into, whatever company you're into, they do look particularly good. I'm just not a huge fan of grading 1 of 1s because, that's just my thing of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in chat are saying sort of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The same thing.
Yep.
But yeah, do you? I mean, at the end of the day, if it's your card in your collection, do whatever makes you happy.
Whatever you make it. I will say this: don't think you're gonna grade a cut, because I am seeing people get cuts on EPAC or pull them, and they're like, "All right, I'm setting it to grading." I was like, that is not gonna make a difference at all in price wise. I don't think anybody, because they're 1 of 1s. It's not like I'm gonna be like, "Well, thank God that cut I really wanted is a 10. I must have it now." You know what I mean? That doesn't make a lot of sense. So I would say,
if you're looking to flip a cut, grading it probably won't do much to help. And for some of us, like you said, if it's not a Danny cut, I'm tracking it. And in fact, I should have done a video, but I probably would have cut my finger off. So you've seen my videos before. Remember at at HeroesCon, were you there at the little place you stayed, the Airbnb, where we had to crack them? I was using space the screwdriver and the saucepan.
To get them signed by the Storm actress, I remember.
Yes, exactly. But the newest ones you can't do that with. So
Yeah,
I actually bought a pair of bolt cutters to break open the new PSA slabs. That was the only way I could. So, yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
And even then, it was hard.
It must be hard.
Like, it doesn't pop open. Like I cut the entire top off, and then I had to like pry it open and like shake it upside down. Oh my god, it was clownish.
It's clownish. Agreed. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your response. Of course. Put on the opposite side of that. Got to remember there is no wrong way to collect. It's the right way. Yeah, 100%. Not wrong.
Have you ever shown them? I've shown some here and there, and like you said, I would love if Graydon ever wanted to do a binder episode, or if he wants me to do a cut episode, and he can come on mine.
Yes.
I mean, I've got 9 binders filled with cuts, so I would love to share them similar way. In fact, I always said I'm so far behind on my whole sketch card series, but then I said my That's So Sketchy, I was going to do a subset called That's So Sketchy Deep Cuts, where I only focused on the comic cuts.
I say do it, man. I'm waiting for that episode. I love those episodes so much.
I just need to get her. I just need to do it.
You're going to do it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I've only come across one Sinister cut. Do you have any Sinister cuts, Matt? That's a good one.
I don't believe I do. I'm just trying to think of what issue. There's probably only 1 or 2 issues he could even be in, I would think.
Well, let's look at the first appearance.
Metal, I don't think he was in any of the John Byrne ones, right?
Let's see. Uncanny X-Men 221.
He is in that one?
He is. That's the first appearance.
That is in X-Men Metal, I believe.
Oh, God.
221 is one of them.
Yep, you're right. 2018. Oh, God. Yep, it's a dual comic cut panel, 2018. And there's one in X-Men Metal 2. Yep, Mr. Sinister. Ooh, ooh. That's stressful.
I have so many different types of binders for cuts. It's absurd. I've got the grading, the zip ones. All right. So 221 should be way at the back. So right, because he was behind the Marauders. That's right. No, I have 4 cuts. I've got one with Rogue, one with Wolverine Havoc, one with Arclight.
I want to see.
I got 6. I lied. Psylocke, Dazzler, and Rogue.
Damn.
This one's a fun one. It's not Sinister, but I'll share it just because I think this one's cool.
I want to see it.
Love it. You get multiple people. Let me share. Remove. Nope. Put it back. There we go.
Oh, sorry.
There.
Oh,
Nice group shot.
That's a great group shot.
Yeah, you get like 5 X-Men in one.
That's sick.
Is that Longshot's arm there? I'm not even sure. Was he in this? I'm not sure whose arm that is. It's got the bandolier on it. But anyways, yeah. So no, he could be in this one, but I don't have him on any of my 6 cuts. Which is too bad now that I know he's there.
Now that I know he's there. Oh yeah, see, Sinister did it really well. Scary man.
Yeah, the 2018 ones. I wish I was chasing harder at that time. I sort of ignored 2018 at the time, and I still regret that.
That's a tough one, though. I will say that was a tough year. There's a lot going on that year.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it was I had broken my own back on Premiere 2017.
Oh, I forgot how hard you went on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was still recovering, which is unfortunate, but c'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Eventually things come back. I've seen few cuts with Cable's Heart. I always try to look for you, Jordan. I always look for you. Oh, that's cool, TJ. That's awesome. There was something someone said that was really cool. Can't find it now. But yeah, this is the group shot one that I found. I don't have many group shot ones, but I thought this one was a really cool one. Yeah. I was very lucky. Someone had this posted on Facebook. It got purchased, and the guy who purchased it did me a trade and did me a solid. So I was very lucky to get that one. But that's the only group shot one I really group shot that I have where everyone's kind of like looking in a general direction. But yeah. All right, let's open up some beginnings. Let's see our luck. Pull the AF-15 booklet. Let's go ahead and end it here. Let's just pull that.
Have we
Let's
seen
just get
anything
that done.
from that? How many are there? Just one? There's 5.
I've only seen one. There's 5. You can get one of the 4 left.
Okay.
Also, could we check to see how many cases they're down? Because there's a lot of things happening soon, and this is kind of a bigger conversation. We're just going to have at
the other day, and it was still 99.
Jesus Christ!
But I'll pull it up on the screen so people can see how you do that.
Thank you.
Let me get rid of that, and let me go present, share screen, and I want to do this one. Okay. So here we go. So one of the things you can do is if you go to shop, and then you find the one you want. But you know what? I'll do it this way because interesting. Has everyone noticed that it's no longer the Marvel logo? Now it's just the word Marvel. That was sort of interesting. That
end of an era, man.
They're just not allowed to use the logo, or just getting a jump on not using it. Come on. All right. So, for example, if you go to beginnings, where are we? Wait on here, right?
There you go.
50% off. That's nice. That's part of the reason we're doing this. But if you go to case and you crank it up to 99, and hit tab, if there's less than 99, the number will change down to however many there are. So what could potentially be closer to sold out here? None of these probably. Let's take the yeah, so I tried to take 99. There's only 44 cases of Defenders left. So that's how you know.
That's how you know. So what other sets here have cuts in them? Let's look at that for people real quick.
Sure.
None of those.
No, none of those. Allegiance does.
Allegiance does. Fleer Ultra, yep.
Yep, Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns. What else?
That's it. Beginnings,
obviously. I think that's it. Just those 3.
Wow, just those 3. So remember, Beginnings is gone. Is Allegiance gone?
Nope, Allegiance is still there.
No, I meant like after the 31st.
Oh, I don't remember who was on the list. It doesn't have Marvel in the title, so it might be. Oh, it does. Marvel Allegiance. Okay. Because it seems like if it had Marvel in the title, it's gone.
Yeah.
But anyways.
All right, here we go. I got the list. So Defenders, now this is a big one, and I hope everyone's going to be okay after I say this big news, but Marvel Cyber is about to be gone on the 31st. You okay, Matt? I'm sorry, man. That's a hard hit. I'm sorry, everybody. I should have had some kind of like warning or something. WandaVision, Falcon the Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, Internals, Marvel Annual, Marvel Beginnings, Throwback, Anime Volume 2, Beginnings, Pack Wars, Allegiance is definitely gone. Funko Pop, Platinum Pack Wars, Marvel Studios Hawkeye, and Annual. So that does mean that Fleer Ultra is already gone, but Fleer Midnight Suns will be there. And I think the other set we looked at that had cuts, which I can't remember now. But yeah, so there you go. Now you guys know. Heartbreak. All right, Matt.
Getting Midnight Suns and Allegiance.
Yep.
All right. Since they were on sale, I bought 4 boxes. I got to find the right tab here. There we go. So yeah, let's just open and hope we get a cut. What are the odds? So I am not gonna dilly-dally on this.
Good.
I'm just gonna power through each one. Right? So I'm just gonna go. So a hit, not a comma cut though. We got a transparent pass. Boo hiss.
Boo hiss.
And then I just power through. I try to stop around 7. because that's when the hit would be. And then if not, I'm just going to keep going. We don't want to turn the hey Danny.
Nice.
I believe you only get 2 hits in these too. So once I get the second, it's like, all right.
This is not an easy thing to hit by any means.
No. In fact, since that transparent pass wasn't what normal, I figured the other hit was going to just be, one of these. Like, oh look, which is too bad because this is out of what 33. No, it's out of 199.
Not
No
trying to give it.
about and it's home. So there we go. So this box is pretty much done at this point, but
you think so? I think you get another hit out of the box. No,
the last couple I did, you only get 2 hits.
Oh, that's dog.
Maybe transparent pass was.
Come on, booklet.
Some sort of special
booklet.
hit.
You need a booklet. It's
probably going to be at like $7.99 anyway. So
you need a booklet.
How exciting! Like this is how excited I am about the product. Only looking for the hits. I'm a bad collector.
A bad collector. It's tough. Beginnings is really hard. There's cuts in it, but
at least
there you go.
Out of $4.99 maybe $1.25. That's not terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
And Oat is at least a respectable character. All right, so 3 hits. I'll take that.
That's not terrible.
All right.
So if you're just joining, we're hunting for cuts. We've talked about cuts. We've talked about looking at cuts, taking time to understand what they are. And we're watching Matt burn through money because we're all desperate.
They were 50% off, so I got, buy 2, get 2 free. Nothing wrong with that.
That's not bad. For what it is, that's not bad. A lot of people are still trying to collect this set in combinables too. So if you do see anything you want, reach out. Trades, all that stuff, I'm sure is welcomed.
I have low expectations. I Jarvis green. Look at that. Come on, Jarvis out of 61.
That's a winner.
Dude, money well spent, everybody.
Well spent. I mean, wow.
Templar 1971 for your trade-off. Send them over.
Hell yeah, people are still playing Marvel Snap.
All the love comments in chat.
Yeah, I'll see. They're all sympathizing with you. Oh, 92mm is less than 99. That's pretty insane. That's pretty insane. They stole everyone's Marvel avatars too. Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Blue, boo-hoo.
I need more and more of Cosmic Ghost Rider base from our beginnings. Want eventually to get it. Okay, yeah, please. And they'll talk about. I won't mention anything else, Rider. Yeah, Legions. I know it's off time. Is anyone still playing?
My gut tells me when I get the 2 numbered like that, I'm not going to get the 3rd. I think the transparent was a bonus hit.
It probably was. I am, but not as serious anymore. But if you are playing Marvel Snap, do hit. Oh, what'd you get there? No. Okay.
But I show did I
say again?
Did I show you my new snap piece?
No.
I'll show after this. I'll show you.
Okay. Yeah.
I sort of said to myself I was done with snap pieces, but I couldn't resist the 2.
There's some beautiful card art in Snap, man.
Well, ones that I think I showed you the Danny one I got, right? The Alex Malik.
Yes, you did. That was crazy.
But this
that was a really great one.
Oh my god! Yeah,
you're doing great, Matt.
I'm almost at the point where I think I'm sort of done with. Like at some point, even though she's my character, I think I have enough Danny OA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's important to recognize. Is this the first box?
This is what? This is box 3.
You're already at box 3?
Yeah. I already got 1 hit in box 3, so we're waiting for the other hit. Yeah. We're plowing through this. I'm not wasting any time.
Damn, you're flying.
Yes. I'll do a combine at the end, but get my card. What's that? Wait. Is that just a plain old reverse? Oh, first appearance variant. Really? That's a hit?
Oh.
Good Lord. It's like SP, numbered SP. That's my hit. Boo.
Come on.
See if that's a bonus hit. It is.
Oh, dog garbage.
That was one of my hits.
Unbelievable.
All right. Last box magic.
Last box. Come on. I love Jordan's comment here. Matt, give me some
How
cable.
quickly I'm clicking through this money, right?
You are flying. Matt, could you give up some cable OA to make room for Danny OA?
I would consider trading giveaway for Danny Away.
There
The
you
guy
go.
who has the Peach Momoko Danny Away knows I traded him a cable away.
Oh,
Someday.
someday.
I just kept getting something else Danny to replace it.
Of course.
All right. The saving
Come on,
it's towards the end here. I like this.
Come on.
All right. We got 2 hits still to come.
You got this.
Stretching out the drama. All
Stretch
right.
the drama.
Come on. Give us a comic
Come
cut.
Come on.
Do it for the vine.
Do it for
Doctor
is that Voodoo?
Strange.
No, it's Doctor Strange. That's pretty good.
Out of
99.
Oh,
Man, no wonders there's 99 cases. This is really tough product.
yeah. There's so much of it's digital. All right. 4 packs left. Here's the comic cut. 3 packs left. On. Boo. Boo.
Oh,
No,
Alpha.
Alpha. Yeah,
Alpha.
please.
Penny Parker Alpha. That's not terrible.
For all those Penny Parker fans. Well, we went fishing for a cut. We didn't get it.
We didn't get
Use
it.
the wrong bait. It happens.
It happens. This is the realness right here.
I love
This is
that
what
it
it
ends
looks
with buy more.
I know.
I'm going to do the combines. Let's see. Attributes can be combined. I got 5 combines out of that. That's terrible. All right. Let's see who I got. Reed Richards. Look out. Gordon.
I love it. Look
Justin
out.
Hammer. Hell yeah. Century.
I think you came up top.
Wow. That was the best $215 I have ever spent right there. There we go.
So this is what happens. This is the reality. So for all those Facebook posts that are like, man, I can't believe I just hit this. This is what's really happening to those people. Okay. That's why they're so excited about the one they get.
Yeah.
Hey. That'd be awesome. I hope we pull one on the channel, man. Love to see your art. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking.
You got 5 days left to sell over 99 cases. Come on, dude. Let's do a 90% off fire sale. That would be crazy.
Or just give them to people in proportion to what they've spent this year.
You know what? That's fair. I think that's more than fair.
And that wouldn't even benefit me, quite honestly. There are some people who spent so much money on this; they deserve a nice little bonus. So.
I think so. Little present for those who actually went through the emotions with this.
Yeah, Donnie boy, let's talk. Let's send me a message.
That's
I have
good
4
stuff.
pieces of Peach original art. I would love to get it to 5.
Something good came out of it. There you go. There's
go.
something.
Yeah, I mean that's true, Blake. They could. I assume they would rather have the profit than the loss, but you're right. They could write it off as a loss and use it as giveaways. There's all sorts of options for them. So, anywho, you got anything to open? No. You're a smart man. You're not going to open anything.
I'll do one. I don't have the money to do it, but I'm going to do one.
No, don't do it. Don't, if you don't have it, don't
you know why? You know why? Because that's what we are in this channel.
Don't do it. Buy a couple. If you're gonna do anything, buy like 4 packs and get 2.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy a pack. Let's buy 4 packs. Let's do that real quick. Let's do that. That's not bad. Let's do 4 packs. That's something I can live with. I'm gonna do it off screen. Come back over here. 4, half off. I can live with that. PayPal. Yeah, you take it. You rob it. I don't care. I don't need it anyway. I don't need to eat. Let's do it. All right, let me go here. There you go. Yep. Take it. Beautiful. Love it. All right. Let's accept that. Perfect. Submit order. All righty. And then we're going to go ahead once this is processed.
Matriarchs. Well, that's pretty good. Matriarchs at 4 to 5 per case. All right.
That's pretty nice, actually. Okay. Come on. There you go. Thank you for your order. Open my packs. All right. Let me go ahead and get us on here.
Oh, yeah. The snap guard.
Oh, yes. That'd be cool to see.
Where the hell did I put it?
All right. There you go, gentlemen. Let's see. 4-pack magic. Maybe we get lucky.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Dud on the first one. Boo. My stuff's dragging. All right. Dud on the second one.
Double boo.
Double boo. Let's go for quadruple. Nothing. Oh my God. Last pack. Nothing. Boo. Well, there it is. Anybody wants any free giveaways, send me free trades. You can have them. You can have them. But there you go. We didn't hit anything. So 4-pack magic is a lie.
So it'll be completely cut related, but I'll show my two most recent acquisitions. I'll start with my comic cover first. So I grabbed a.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, you got it.
There we go.
Perfect.
I picked up Gerardo Sandoval New Mutants comic cover.
That's actually really awesome.
Yeah, I like this one.
Oh, that looks good too.
But for Snap, again, I after the Danny, I said I was going to be done with Snap.
I remember.
But I needed this character because I'm trying to get, similar to my sketches, I want to get like a lot of the different mutants. So
yeah,
when Nightcrawler came up, I couldn't resist. So.
Damn.
Yeah, Vincenzo Riccardi.
He's great. I have a surfer by him that he made me a long time ago. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I was super happy with that.
That's actually really cool. I don't know if there are any Nightcrawler cuts.
Yeah, there are.
Are there?
I just like
making him look. I was just about to say, I just like making him look. I don't know why.
It'll probably be in the up. This one's only from X-Men 120 up, but let's see if I can find it in here.
I will say this. Someone asked if Matt could bring a comic cut binder that comic cuts could be for sale in a binder to OAX. I'm trying.
If I end up doing the drive option, then absolutely.
Oh, shit.
Now I sort of wonder if, now that you've said that, they purposefully
cut around him.
Yeah.
I've seen a few cuts where he's kind of on the edge, but they purposely cut around him because they did that to Server forever. Purposely cut around him, which is heartbreaking. But
all right. Well, looks like I'll have to grab the first binder. Let me go take a look. Huh. You may be right, though.
I know. I'm excited. I think you have one. I think I've spotted one before. So I just like making Matt look for stuff. I don't know why. He has so much good stuff there. I have to double check him sometimes. I have to make sure he's showing me things. You guys know how it is. It's just what you do to friends, really.
Now
he's on a journey. Yay!
Binder 1. All right, so let's skip ahead to Claremont. Okay, here we go.
Oh boy! Anybody? Here we go. If you go to OAX, need roommate. TJ's awesome. Go find him. Oh boy. I should have said this privately.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Now I have a new quest. Yeah, it seems purposeful at this point. For sure. I wonder if I even have like a BAMF, like a brimstone in the background or anything.
Well, Matt, since you don't have one, I guess I have to show mine.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, I'm just kidding. I got nothing. I just.
I'll have to look over the Fleer Ultra Wolverine ones to see if there might be a spot in there, but no, I do not.
There's a lot of good characters out there that are hard to find on cuts. Deep cuts with Matt Fuller, Binder Night. Things are happening. That's amazing. So we're doing for him, not to him. All right. Well, that is our cut episode. You saw us blow money on beginnings, which was a nice little treat. Something you don't see
do that.
often.
That's bad.
Don't do that. That's a bad thing. And part of this guide is to show you that don't do that. That's terrible.
Yeah, the odds are not in your favor
at all. But if you have any more questions before we kind of take off here about comic cuts, anything you wanted to see, stuff you were interested in, anything you wanted to clarify or understand a little better, please let us know before we're out. But Matt, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this with me, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice when we have something like this that we love and that we're trying to like. You know, it's weird because we promote this. I want to say this in the right way. Because I don't want this to be seen as a dig on anyone else, because it's not meant as that. But no, I think you and I talk about cuts because we truly just love them, and we really don't have like no valuation agenda. In fact, in some ways, talking about this so openly actually works against us as collectors, right? Because we're drawing more attention to something we really love. But, you know, and we've talked about it before, and it, you know, if we were super greedy, we would keep it quiet, but we want to show that this is a great insert. I would love if this got the attention of the people at Topps and they considered continuing using cuts in their products, right? We have no knowledge that they would, but we also have no reason to suspect they wouldn't. So Topps, if you're listening, people love cuts. It's an inexpensive insert to have, maybe 1 or 2 sets a year. Don't have to go crazy on it, but you know, bring them on.
It'd be great to continue the tradition of comic cuts. And I think too, like, and you and I spoke about this, right now the collecting community is getting hit with a lot of stuff of people selling cards, a lot of like doomsday kind of language around cards losing value and all this kind of craziness. There's a lot of people here who are going to continue collecting because they have been collecting for the love of it. And I think what's really great is putting out these videos on different types of inserts, talking about different things you and I are getting into, ways that we're continuing to collect outside of all of the things that are changing in our hobby, because this is very much a time of everything changing. Upper Deck's going to be done with a Marvel license soon. All those products are going to have to be off ePack. All the physical ones are going to stop coming out. And then we're just going to have Topps doing what they're doing, which might be really interesting. We don't know yet. We haven't seen anything crazy yet. So it might be really fun to see what sets they have planned for the future. But I think a lot of people are looking at their collections and saying, oh, how does this look for me? What is this like? How do I maintain this without losing tons of money or, you know, without driving myself crazy because people, you know, have this or that or whatever the case would be, the competition being fierce. And I think it's a great way for our content to kind of show people, hey, there's still so much here and there's so much stuff that you and I are still doing. And I think it's fun for people. You know, I've had a lot of fun conversations lately just because I started getting so deep into the comic cuts.
And you can still get them for relatively inexpensively. You know, the old Avengers Silver Age ones, you can get them for under $20 for the most part. You can still get some of the more modern ones. People throw them up at auction. Keep your eye on them. Some of them go for 15, $25. So some good stuff out there.
Some really good stuff. I've decided. Thank you all so much. Just looking to see. Appreciate all of you. You guys are really kind. Thank you so much. Cut to career. Love Comica. It's awesome. Joe Fixit and Modern Doc Ock.
And of course, Perna.
Perna wraps up the episode, obviously.
Please think of the children.
Think of the children.
What was it? Maud Flanders, right? There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
All right,
everybody. See you, everybody. Have a good day. We'll catch you later. Thanks, everybody.